boy Donne Colioni. We're back again with another live. You know what I'm saying? It was a cold one today, man, but you know the show must go on, man. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get this started. Make sure you follow the new Instagram page. It should be linked down below in the description. If you didn't follow the IG page, you know, I don't know. That's where I put all the updates. So don't lack on that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we are here with the guest for today, David. You know, power lifter, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Big man things, yeah. You know what it is.
Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate just being on your platform and having a nice chat. I feel like it's going to be more of a hangout than anything. We're just chopping it up. Maybe we'll talk about a few controversial topics here and there, but I think it'll be fun. Yeah, thanks for having me.
It'll be lit, you know? For the people who don't know who you are, do you want to tell them a little bit about
thanks for inviting me. My name is David. I am a fitness trainer. I like to call myself a fitness enthusiast. Like, I'm very passionate about fitness. I've been probably working out for, I'd say, 6-7+ years, but I've been like active. Like, I've been structurally working out in a gym or some type of training format for 6-7 years, but I've probably been working out since I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
So I train people. Right now I'm working on making my programs. I'm trying to build up my brand. Hopefully this can help me out with that. But yes, that's my goal right now. We're building up my program, my business. My Instagram is Fitness with David, and my TikTok is also Fitness with David. Go check it out. More stuff coming up on there, and I'll be more consistent with that. But
all that will be linked down below at some point after the podcast. So David, so you said you've been training since for like a long time now. So what got you into training and stuff like that? Like what?
Yeah, I think naturally. I think it's a rounded question. Yeah. I think I can think of the little things, like seeing just buff guys around me. Being Nigerian, I grew up in Nigeria, and like genetically for me, you see a lot of buff guys around.
But you started at a young age though.
Yeah, I started at a young age, but like it's because I seen other buff people, and I seen people that related to me be buff, or people that went to my church, or just people around me, and they were just bigger, and I kind of just like that aesthetic of being big and strong, and I like the idea of picking up things, things, and being the strong kid. I remember like when we would set up stuff, I would try and carry the most amount of chairs and pick up the heaviest table. Just from a young age, kind of just had an interest in like being fit or being strong. And my mom would tell you, I think after the first, I think it was one class I had, it was talking about like dieting, and it was just talking about having a balanced diet. And after I learned that in school, my mom could not hear the end of it. I would go home, okay, Mom, I have to have protein, I have carbs, I have fats, like I have to have this is probably 8 years old. And
oh,
I'm
wow.
telling my mom, because I learned this at a very young age, and it's like, okay, I have to get the right minerals and vitamins. I want to be healthy, I want to be strong, I want to be big. So I would always had a strong interest in that stuff, right?
Wow.
So I think that's where it just started, just naturally gravitated towards that. But when all the kids were on the playground playing and doing stuff, I found a bar doing chin-ups as many as I can. Like, this is probably 9-10 years old. I was figuring out stuff. The first day I could do half a chin-up, come back the next day, could do maybe a full one, and just eventually you can do 4 or 5, just working your way up like the usual. But I'm actually curious. I like to hear about other people's stories. So for you, what gravitated you into fitness?
Fitness?
If you know, this guy's going crazy on his TikTok, all his fitness content.
But what started me with fitness was so many reasons. I think the main one was really, I kind of briefly told you this before, but I was kind of scared I was just getting jumped. Like that was kind of like one of the reasons. I was like really skinny and like I don't know. I wanted people to like take me more seriously because back in high school I was very like. I was athletic, but I was like the skinny athletic. I was like, more like a sprinter, basketball build, right?
Yeah.
I wanted people to like just take me seriously more because I feel like I was just a skinny, goofy kid, right?
Yeah. You wanted to have that edge, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which anime did you watch? Baki or which one?
It wasn't Baki. It was this one in particular called Kenichi's Mightiest Disciple.
Oh yeah.
It's a low key one, but he was it was kind of relatable because he started off as like a skinny high school kid, and then he meets this shorty, and the shorty takes him to like her grandfather, who's like some Mr. Miyagi guy, and then they start training, and then by the end of the series, he's like this, he's like Baki level,
and gets the girls or something.
Gets the girl at the end. I was like, yo, I'm sold. Let me just start.
100%. I think in the back of every gym rat's mind, at first you join and you think as soon as I hit the gym, all the girls are people are gonna be trembling in their boots when they see me. I think that's definitely a part of the motivation for sure. I can't say I never ever thought of that for sure. I think I agree.
100%. And you just fall in love with training eventually.
Obviously you have to start somewhere. Your motivation starts somewhere, and then it evolves. It grows over time. Some people start just wanting to get fit and end up like, oh, I want to be strong now, or I want to learn how to run, or I want to learn how to play basketball now. Like whatever you start with, or for you probably start playing sports first, right? And then you gravitate, okay, maybe because I want to be skinny, I want to start hitting the gym. That's where, to me, it's all fitness, right? You're still moving your body. You're trying to work on your cardiovascular fitness or your like a certain body skill. I think it's all like correlated for sure.
So like we talked about how you got into fitness young age. So then what got you into like when did you start like the into the personal training stuff? Like when did you start doing
personal training? Probably actually during COVID. I was like, I remember like people around me just like telling me like, oh yeah, you should do that, and I like, because I wanted to go into school for kinesiology, but at first, like, I've always wanted to do psychology. Psychology is my degree right now. But kinesiology was always in my back of my mind because I played sports for a good amount of time, and I was really interested in fitness. So I was like, maybe kinesiology, but my grades weren't grading. So so I was like, so when I got into psych, obviously because kinesiology is so competitive, I was like, I don't need to do school for 4 years to get into this field. Like I can like do a program. There's so many programs out there. I was like, okay, let me just like research, do a program, and like do something. Like I didn't know where it would lead me. I was like, and it was COVID. Everybody is like chill. Like there's no, like we don't know when things were. I think this was like 2020 May. Like that was when things just shut down. You don't know when things are gonna open back up. So I was like, you know what? I'ma just like sign up. I might spend money. For me, it felt like a lot of money at the time. It was like $700. I was like, I'ma just spend it, do it, and move on. So that's what I just kind of did. I researched the program, looked for a company that I liked, and then I just kind of did it that way. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like those what's it called? So would you like advise people to like go to like a cheaper program or like a more expensive program, or what do you think about?
I think it depends on the individual for sure. Like I think the route I went really was like the best for me. I don't think I had the time to like, because there's like 2 year, like you can go to a lot of like technical schools where they have like a 2-year program as a fitness training program or something, or even they have certifications in like universities or stuff like that, but you don't really, like in my opinion, you don't really need that. But if you're the type of person that prefers learning that way and like that structured type of learning, like that might be the program for you. But if you're like, okay, I already have so much information, I just need it to be formal. Like if at that time, I already like knew how to make programs, I already knew how to build strength, I already knew a bunch of stuff.
Right.
It was more like, okay, the legalities, like, okay, what am I liable for? What am I not liable for? What can I, like, like, how do I motivate? It's like, more like, it was the legalities and the people stuff, right? So like the legalities, like, okay, what am I allowed to do as a personal trainer? What is in my rights? What aren't in my rights? Especially like in this day and age, you need to know that stuff, right? You can't just jump into a field
And then
yeah, exactly. You don't want to get sued before you even start making the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was the one important thing for me, and the other thing was like, okay, what is the best way to approach people naturally, and then obviously some like advertising stuff. Like the program I went was a little old school with that, but it still helped. Every knowledge is kind of useful in its own way. So I think that was the biggest thing for me. It was just like learning the parts that took the formal parts to complete the physical training knowledge that I already knew. Like I already knew how to work out. I already knew how to put people through workouts. I already knew how to build programs. I already knew how to be a trainer, like in theory, but in the formal aspects I didn't know. So that for me, that was the best decision. For other people, if you're just like, oh, this seems interesting, I have no idea what I'm doing, I'd say go to like do a year program. That might be more sufficient for you, but that's the way I would go. Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry, I have a quick question for you. We were off camera, you were kind of telling me how you kind of had interest in like doing more, and obviously I know you have a TikTok.
Yeah.
And like, so I know you definitely have a big interest in like fitness. Do you ever think you would like ever actually like train someone or like put someone through a workout, or like where do you think your role is in fitness? Like, is it personal? Do you think you want to impact people?
Okay, for me, it's more like, in the beginning it started as like a personal thing, like I just wanted to, get stronger, look better, aesthetically and all that stuff. And then eventually kind of reached the point where how I started my fitness TikTok was because I kind of lost motivation for fitness after COVID, because after not going to the gym for a while, I was kind of losing motivation. And then I was thinking, okay, maybe if I make I made a fitness account like to keep myself accountable. And then over time, I kind of just like, okay, like, I just saw the feedback I was getting from people. Like people were like kind of getting motivated, like, yo, like, keep going, man. Like, you're motivating me, da da da. Like, I was getting messages on TikTok. So I just kept going with it. But right now I'm kind of seeing it like, because, I've been working on fitness for a minute now. So I was thinking like, yo, like, you might as well like, once you kind of master something, you might as well try and bring value. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Like now you have the skill.
You
might as well use it for something profitable. I think that's what you're saying.
And that's the thing too with that is I would definitely want to like, I wouldn't want to like train clients like person to person. I'm more like the type to like maybe like sell a program type deal.
Yeah.
The only thing is just like, I want to do that, but I just don't know. Cause like, when it comes to like guys' physiques, like I could definitely like coach like a dude like how to get in shape. Like I'll tell him exactly what he needs to do. But when it comes to a girl, their body types are a little bit
different.
Like I know like
like the basic, but there's more to women than there is to men. Hormone differences, like structural differences, bone density, a lot of different. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's part of why I had to do it, because it's like, I'm a guy, I know how to train myself, and probably a lot of other guys.
Yeah.
But what about training somebody who's 65?
Yeah.
What about training somebody who is 12? What about training somebody who's a woman? What about training a woman in their 90s?
Yeah.
What about training, like, so there's like different use cases where if I use my knowledge, like if I go tell somebody to do what I do at the gym and they're like in a different point of their life, I might actually mess them up. So that's kind of why I needed to like actually go and do the formal aspect just so I can kind of know that. But yeah, I think that's a good point. And I think I'm not gonna shade any other trainers, but I think a lot of like, cause like fitness trainers, like, cause it's so easy to get into, it's like kind of oversaturated.
Yeah,
So many people are in it. So many people are. We're gonna go into the fitness industry a little bit
Yeah.
here, but kind of to segue into that. Some people are in it. Like some people don't even actually know what they're doing. Some people only cater to a small audience of people, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the reality is there are more people than just like people in their 20s. There are more people out there than just people in their 30s. More people out there than guys in their 20s to your 40s. Like they're different like groups. There's different demographics, right? So I think it's more, for me personally, it's more important for me to like cater to every demographic that I can reach. So like I don't want to just like, cause like I want to impact lives. I don't have any restriction to what life I want to impact. If it happens to be a female. If it happens to a older person. If it happens to be like a kid athlete, an 8-year-old kid, it's an 8-year-old kid. Like like whoever I can impact, I can impact. That's kind of my mindset towards it. Yeah.
Okay. Going back to I almost lost train of thought. You said something that I was like interested. Okay, so you said like the fitness industry was getting saturated with like, whatchamacallit, the abundance of personal trainers now. With that being said, because there's so much information on YouTube, all this type of thing, like, do you think that like there will be like come a day where we won't need personal trainers? Because like on YouTube, there's so much information. You got your Greg Doucette's, your Jeff Nippards, your like JPJ Fitness, the list goes on.
Like it's funny, I don't even know who JPJ Fitness is. Like you're right. There's so many trainers. There's so many YouTube influencers or so many social media influencers. I don't want to even say YouTube. There's so many social media influencers, so many people out there doing, and they have like different niches, like something like a David Goggins. We'll talk about shout out in a second, but someone like David Goggins is not necessarily a trainer, he's more of a motivator, but he's still in the fitness industry. Or like somebody like Joe Rogan, he's not really in the fitness industry, but he's a fitness influencer because people, something he says sells. Like if you go on Joe Rogan's podcast and Joe Rogan says, use this guy's stuff, you're golden. You're gonna sell so many products or whatever or services that you have, right? So it's kind of like important to like to understand that it is oversaturated. To answer your question though, I think if you think about it in the sense that the world as a whole is oversaturated with information, so it doesn't mean that, like, for instance, you can get any degree you need, like any information you need in school is online. So people that are spending $40,000 on degrees, then they're wasting your money. You know what I mean? If you're looking at it in that sense. So professors, in that argument, professors are useless. Or in that argument, and lots of other professions are like useless. But the reality is, there are always going to be people who need that extra, that physical person there, regardless. And like, not everybody has the time or desire to sit down on YouTube and watch, because the thing about YouTube too is like the information is so different. Greg Doucette might say men gaining is the way. Somebody else might say men gaining is shit. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can swear on this.
Go ahead.
But somebody else might say, oh, power building is the way. Somebody said like power building is stupid. Hypertrophy training is the only way to gain muscle. Like, so everybody has so many different information, and frankly, even for me, it can be confusing. Like from an outsider looking in, I look at it and I'm just like, there's a lot of different like information out there. So if you have somebody who knows their knowledge and knows what to go with and knows a system that works and would work for you, then that's a lot more valuable to some people. Obviously, a fitness trainer is not necessary for a lot of people. For most people in the gym, they don't need trainers, but there's gonna be always that subset of people that need a trainer, need somebody to guide them, show them the rope. And often, like, because gyms are so male-centric, like a lot of women feel intimidated to go into the gym. So having somebody there to coach them, guide them is really helpful. Or an older person who's like 55, never been to the gym in their life. If they step in the gym, they might feel like, oh, I'm not as good as this young guys, right? So if they have somebody coaching them, it's like, yeah, you're fine. Like just follow this progressions, work your way up slowly. Don't take things don't go tough off the bat. Like you gain progress as long as you stay consistent. If you okay, this is the plan that works for you. Don't follow what the young guys are doing. Your body might not be able to exactly withstand the amount of volume or whatever or intensity you're putting on it. This is the right intensity to put. Then that would be the subset for those kind of people. But I know I'm talking here, but there's a lot to this question that you're asking me.
Yeah.
But I think in reality, the world is moving to like more online, and like everything is gonna be like more online based. So the reality is, a lot of people, even though they might not need a trainer, a lot of people are gonna need online coaching. Like for instance, like I advise for anyone, like you should do some type of fitness competition. And if you want to do a fitness competition, and like maybe the program you're following is not strict enough. Maybe the following program you're following is not precise enough. Like there's training, you can train generally, and any type of training will give progress, but there's more efficient training. So if you want to have the best results, you might need to go with a more precise, a more like updated version of that training. So like for instance, if you want to do a bodybuilding show and you want to get down to 8%, 7% body fat, and you want to do it smart and healthily, you might need somebody who does that all the time to coach you through
So
it.
different types of training.
Exactly. So like that's where coaching will always exist. Like those people will always need coaches. Chris Bumstead has a coach.
Yeah.
Like every elite bodybuilder, powerlifter, CrossFitter, like every elite fitness individual has a trainer, has a coach that is showing them the ropes. So that's what I think. But it might not be necessarily in person, it might be online.
Online.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all good stuff. Yeah, definitely I guess in that sense then trainers would be, we would need them because people would need motivation
Yeah.
and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
What's it called? I'm curious, what's your opinion on like Liver King though?
Like yeah,
And,
we're in the controversy.
Into the controversy.
Maybe you can start us off. What do you think?
What do I think
What
about
do you
Liver
think?
King?
Yeah.
At first, I'm gonna be real, I'm not eating raw stuff. I feel like it's a little bit unnecessary. You know what I mean? Like, you can get protein other ways.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like, why? But other than that, I thought, okay, kind of cool guy. He's doing his own thing. He's, and then I found that he was on TRT. I was like, damn, that's the thing is like, in the fitness industry, there's a lot of people, like, you don't know who's natty and who's not. So it's not really good to look at them and be like, I want to be you kind of have to look at them and be like, okay, maybe like you'll get halfway. You really can't really compare yourself. You got to just be the best you can be and stuff. But honestly, I mean, I'm not like, screw this guy. I don't really like, in a way, care that he did it. I mean, it's his life. I personally, I just feel like I just feel like doing like TRT, all those stuff is like, I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand it, but I just feel like I'd want to just stay natty just because it just seems more like healthy. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to risk my like health. Or
Yeah. I agree. 125,000%. I think you stole all the words out of my mouth, man. Liver King, I think he's who he is. I think he the thing about the fitness industry is that it's so competitive.
Yeah.
It's so oversaturated, like I said before. So everybody's trying to do what they can to find an edge.
Yeah.
So I think in the process of him trying to find an edge, he decided to make a decision of not telling people, obviously, because there are a lot of enhanced fitness influencers, like a lot of them. So there's a lot of them that are enhanced and are truthful about it, but he decided, I'm not going to be truthful, and I'm going to tell you that this 9 tenets or whatever he believes in is the way to get my body, right? And the reality is, even if you did all you said, you can never achieve Liver King's body. Like, even if Liver King was natural, most people cannot achieve Liver King's body. Let's make a rain check here. Most people are not going to be looking like the fitness influencer. The fitness influencer you're looking at, you're not gonna look like them. I'm sorry. Like, that's rude. It might crush your dreams. It might seem like I don't believe in that person. But I think people base the idea, because we're visual creatures. We see something, we want to be like that. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with getting motivation from somebody. But to think that if you're not that person, then you're not like worth it, or you're not working out hard enough, or your progress is useless, right? That's a dumb way to think. I think that you can look at those people and get motivation on their training, but you can't get lost in their physique. You can't get lost in Chris Bumstead's physique. Like, he just won the Olympia again. Like, I can't be looking at Chris Bumstead and be like, yes, that's gonna be me. Like, realistically, I don't even want to be that, right? So like, yeah, exactly. So it's just like, just try and be the best you can. I think there are moments where you push yourself a little harder, but like, to be focusing on those people's physiques, whatever it may be, and be like, okay, if I'm not this in 6 months, or if I'm not this in 8 months, then I'm gonna be blah blah blah. It's just like, that's the first thing with clients, that the problem I have with a lot of clients. It's not really a problem. I think it's just the human nature. It's like, people come to me and I always try and ask, because I know they already have that thought in their mind. They come to me, oh, this is the idea they have in their mind. So I'm like, okay, who do you want to look like? That's the question. I have that as a question I always ask. Who do you want to look like? And like, they will tell me this person, and I'll be like, sometimes it's realistic. Like, I was training somebody, like my last training block here, and she wanted to look like another lady. I don't want to say any names, just to keep confidentiality. But I was like, I think you can be that in 6 months, in X amount of time, if you're consistent. But the reality is, most people are not even looking at body types that are like similar to theirs. So if you're like, I don't want to use any term that people don't know, but I think a lot of gym guys know, like mesomorph, ectomorph, all those things. If you're an ectomorph and you want to look like a mesomorph, it's going to be really hard. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of effort. You can look like a hacked version of it, but you won't exactly be like that. And if as soon as you stop working that hard, you lose it, right? So that's the thing about, especially if you're natural. So for Liver King is particularly, yes, what he did was wrong, in my opinion, especially as somebody in that industry. Like, it's really deceiving people, and there are probably hundreds of people or thousands of people who bought his products, because he's really just selling product, right? So lots of people buying that product thinking, oh, I'm gonna kind of look like this, and I think that's fucked up. That's fine, and we can talk about other people who have done that in the past, but like, and it's gonna keep happening. Another 2 years from now, somebody new is gonna pop up. They're gonna be on gear, lie about it, and But if you can be straight up about it, that's great. But too many people get too much focus on people's physique. That's why we care about the whole natty or not claim. If we didn't care about people's physiques that much, then we would not care if you're natty or not. Like, when I look at a physique, I'm not thinking instantly, oh, is this person natural? Is this achievable? It's just like, oh wow, this person's genetics are great. I just want to know their training style. Should be what's on your mind. What's your training style? Because that's something you can implement, right? That's something that you can change. That's something you can work on. But natty or not, oh, now you just know that, oh, I can never look like them. Oh yes, oh, I can look like them. And most likely, even if most people are not going to work that hard. Most people just don't. It's just, you just don't, So I know I'm sounding very negative here, but that's just how I feel.
It's the truth, though.
It's just, if you're too focused on natty or not, then you're focused on the wrong thing to begin with. It's my opinion. You should be focused on your strenuous program, your diet, your physical activities, your fitness level, your heart. Like, there's so much more to fitness than just how you look too. So that's a whole different combo. But like, if you're focused on how you look, focus on the things that can actually change that. Don't focus on the things that, that motivate me. Maybe I can achieve that or maybe I can't. That's BS.
Damn, that's actually the best answer I've heard about the whole, like, if you're focused on NATTY or not, you're focused on the wrong thing.
Yeah, you're focused on the wrong thing. That's
And I think that's why those videos get so much, because there's
views.
When they see their ideal guy, like, for example, maybe Michael B. Jordan, they'll be like, oh my God, like, it's Michael B. Jordan. Is it possible to look like Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah, and like, I'm not gonna say, I never looked at a body type and thought maybe I can be like that. But I think there's a point where you mature and become like, okay, yes, I can get motivation, and I knew that body has a lot of hard work from that. And that's what I'm focusing on. Let me focus on the hard work they put into that and see if I can match that or beat that. That's the mindset I've decided to start adopting, rather than adopt the idea of, let me look like them. Because at the end of the day, you're not gonna look like them. You don't look like them naturally. Like, what I'm saying is, your weights are probably the same. Your BMI naturally is probably different. Your bone density is probably, the way your muscle insertions sit will be different. So no matter how hard you work, you will still look like the best version of you. So why focus on them? You know what I mean? So like now on TikTok and stuff, I see people worried about how their muscle inserts. Like, that's dumb. That's stupid. Like, why are you worried about how your muscles look after you've trained them? Like, worry about your training and be happy with the results. You can't control that. Like, no matter, except you inject stuff that literally change the structure, which is really bad for you. Even if you take more steroids, they won't change the insertions. They will just change the vascularity, the size, the density. They won't change the insertions of your muscles. Like, that's crazy to me. Anyway,
it's crazy. Speaking of body type, what are you, a mesomorph or are you?
I believe I'm an ectomorph. Ectomorph is the taller one, right?
Ectomorph. If I remember correctly, I thought ectomorph was like you're tall, skinny.
Yeah, tall, skinny.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you're an ectomorph?
Yeah, I was. See, that's the thing. I'm an ectomorph. If you knew me like 4 or 5 years ago, you would know that I'm an ectomorph. Like, the way to tell is if they have super skinny calves, which I have, right? So super skinny calves, that's how you know I'm ectomorph. But I think I'm like, because people think it's just like one.
Oh, you mean with one?
Yeah, like I think I'm a mix between ectomorph. I don't use those terms anymore, so I don't remember as much. But ectomorph and the one in the middle where you're a mix of both. So I think I'm a mix between an ectomorph and that, because my upper body gains weight really fast, but the reality is I just work on my upper body a little more than I should probably. But so I have difficulty gaining weight, especially from my calves down. But in my quads, I gain weight pretty easily there too. Quads and hamstrings, I think I'm fine with. But I think that's, ectomorph. How about you? What body type are you?
I think I'm like the same, like both like ecto, meso mix. Because in high school I was very, very, very skinny. I was super athletic though, like I could jump really high, run really fast, you know what I'm saying? I was just super athletic. But once I started hitting the gym, like the newbie gains were like quick. Like it was like, holy shit, like this guy, like, you know, it was crazy.
I think, that's where genetics comes into play a little bit. Obviously, there's a whole nother rant I have about genetics, but I actually did a one rant for today, so I'll leave it at that. But ectomorphs usually gain muscle like fast, but depending on like you gain vascularity fast. So it's not like you gain a lot of size, but you look like you work out really quickly. Right. But depending on your genetics, that you can actually gain a lot more muscle faster. Right. There's one ectomorph I used to know that was like crazy. Like I swear he went to the gym for like 3 weeks, and this guy looked like he lifted. You know him, so I'll tell you after. But he looked like he lifted. So it's just like it comes down to genetics for a lot of things. Obviously, no matter who you are, if you work out, you will see results. But like the speed of the results and genetics have a little bit to play, but I don't think that should discourage anyone. Like
Right.
anyone, like regardless of your genetics, there's something that your genetics are good for. That's the reality. Like even those people who can't gain weight really easily, I wanted to talk about that. I know we're using a lot of time here, but I would like people who can't gain weight easily. They're usually better with cardiovascular fitness. So it's just like, even though you think, oh, my genetics don't let me gain weight, you actually have a benefit. There's a benefit there. You just you're focused on that. Well, you get the cards you're dealt with. You just have to work.
You just gotta, what's it called? Play your strengths.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You play your strengths, but if you want to work on your weakness, don't be mad that it's not your strength.
Yeah.
Like if I want to grow my calves, I shouldn't be mad that my calves aren't growing fast enough.
Yeah.
Like I should just accept and keep on putting in the work.
Yeah.
I shouldn't I shouldn't be mad that this person's calves grew in like X amount of time, or they were born with a certain amount of calves and I'm not. Nah. This is what I have. Just keep working. Just keep working, and then you get there. Did you ever struggle with gaining weight?
Me, okay. Gaining weight, did I ever struggle?
Or like gaining went from X weight to X weight?
A little bit. Like, for example, like when I first started in high school, I found like I didn't know what I was doing, but I just got some newbie gains. It was just kind of like I looked very vascular. Like, it wasn't nothing like I got big. It was just very vascular. And then I kind of plateaued at a little bit, and I continued to be vascular until I was like, hey, I want to get a little bit bigger. I want to look more, just like it's bigger. Because back in the day, I used to kind of look at Michael B. Jordan. That was my, that was my thing. And so, I struggled for a while, and I realized I had to actually eat more. I wasn't eating enough. Like I thought I was eating, but I wasn't. And then once I fixed that, I started eating more. That's when I started gaining, and
you just went from there. You answered where I was going with that. Basically, I'll keep it short. But a lot of people who say they're like hard gainers or whatever that term is, they just don't eat enough. That's the reality. You just simple. You don't eat enough. Like, just eat more. Period. It's I remember for me when I did my first ever real bulk, a friend of mine, Daniel Berry, I'm gonna say his name, just because he knows this the most. Like I would eat every single class. Like I would eat probably 6 to 8 meals a day, right, just to gain enough weight. And I had an X amount of time, an X goal in my mind. Probably wasn't the healthiest. I wouldn't. Don't do this. Take your time with it. But just to show that if you eat, you gain the weight. If you eat, you'll gain weight. That period. That's it.
Oh yeah, 100%. With that being said, would you say dirty bulking or clean bulking?
Clean bulking.
Clean bulking.
Clean bulking. I have a short question like that for you too. Mary F. Kill. Have you heard this before?
Yeah.
Size,
Okay.
strength, or vascularity?
Okay, so wait, so
Size, strength, vascularity.
vascularity. Okay.
Like being shredded. Or size, strength, shredded.
So size, vascularity,
And strength.
and strength. Okay.
Mary
This is
F.
hard.
Kill.
Size. Okay, I said it one more time. So size,
Size, strength,
strength.
vascularity, or being shredded, and then marry one, F1, kill one. Just give him a minute.
This is so hard, man. It's I have to say.
Yeah, it's a hard one. It's a difficult one. Maybe we'll answer at the end.
Yeah, because
we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. Anyway, you have any other questions?
I wanted to get into your powerlifting stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, can you tell us more about that? Like your.
Yeah. So right now I'm powerlifting. Yeah. Basically, if you don't know what powerlifting means, it's just squat, bench, deadlift, and trying to lift as much weight in those 3 lifts as possible. That's the basis of powerlifting. But powerlifting actually grows more than that. But that's the basis when people talk about powerlifting, that's what they mean. And I kind of transitioned into, like, I want to say I'm a full powerlifter. Like, I worked out with you the other day. We didn't really powerlift.
Yeah.
We kind of just worked out,
Just
right?
worked out, yeah.
Right? So we just did like a normal hypertrophy program, which is kind of, yeah, we had fun. So I'm more of a power builder. I know some people don't like that word, but that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
I like to focus on strength in those 3 lifts, but I want to blend in for the rest of my workouts. I go high reps. I focus on my hypertrophy. I try and get in as much muscle and pump as much blood into my muscles in those exercises as possible, right? So that's kind of my focus in those other lifts. How do you gain as much strength as possible? Simple. Go lower reps. It's just simple.
Yeah.
Go lower. So first of all, warm up. Warm up your shoulders, everything. Like for instance, bench. Warm up your shoulders. Warm up your back. Then, after you're done your warm up, work up to X amount, like towards your 1 rep max. Work towards that and do, let's say, 5 sets of 4, or 6 sets of 3, or 3 sets of 3, or like depending on what your time constraint. Obviously, those have different, like there's a different mindset towards each of those, like 5 sets of 5 versus 6 sets of 3. There's a different mindset to each of those, but that's kind of the point. Like, work towards higher numbers that are close to your 1 rep max and do less reps. Like, that's really all that is. And same with your deadlift, same with your squat. Yeah, and the reality is, with powerlifting, the goal is not to gain as much muscle as possible. The goal is to gain strength.
Yeah.
The goal is to gain some explosive power. So you're not gonna you're gonna build muscle. Don't get me wrong. You're definitely gonna.
But it's not.
That's not the
priority,
goal.
though.
Yeah, that's not the priority. But it does build muscle. So like, different styles of training actually affect different types of muscle.
Yeah.
So there's 3 types of muscle in 3 types of muscles in your body. There's the type 1, the fast twitch muscles, and the slow twitch. The third one, I find it hard to explain, but I'm just gonna stick with those 2.
Yeah.
Fast twitch gets triggered when you do that type of training. So that muscle will grow. That muscle will definitely grow. Like, you will know when, especially if you do it long enough, right? So yeah, that's the reality.
So your fast twitch, would you say, is that more like hypertrophy, or is
The fast twitch is definitely like strength.
Oh, strength.
Yeah,
Okay.
because if you think about it in the sense of when you're doing a sprint, you do how many strides? 20 strides, 30 strides. Versus if you're doing a marathon, you're doing 1,000 strides, 3,000 strides, right? So it's the same thing when you do 3 reps versus doing 15 reps.
Yeah.
You're using your fast twitch muscle fibers, and you're trying to generate as much force. Because you have to lift the weight, right? And it's the heaviest weight you usually lift. So you're trying to generate as much force out of your muscles as possible. Versus slow twitch, it's an endurance muscle. So when you work on hypertrophy, you're tasking your endurance system. That's when you do legs, you like sweat because you're actually, especially if you work towards those higher numbers, you're tasking the endurance muscles in your legs. So that's the easiest way to explain it. I don't want to get too sciencey.
Simplify it. Hypertrophy builds muscle, and then what was the other one? What were we talking about? Strength training, lower reps, lower sets.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
And hypertrophy is higher, so that's higher reps.
Yeah. What do we do for time? How
5:22.
5:22. We started. Let's see. How long have we been in? We're gonna wrap up shortly. Let's see. My other last question that I have. So we talked a little bit about your powerlifting. So you have a competition coming up soon.
Yeah, so I have a competition on March 18th. It's in Calgary.
Okay.
And it's just this bench and deadlift competition. So that's might be my main focus right now. Right, like for me, my goal is not to be the best powerlifter in the world. Like I was saying, I think it's important for people to push themselves in new ways in fitness. Like when you're playing basketball, you go scrimmage with people. You go play new people, try and play better teams, try and play with better people because you're trying to develop yourself. Being in the gym is a one-man sport. So in order to push yourself sometimes, a good way is to join something challenging. Okay, I'm gonna go for a show, or I'm gonna go compete as a powerlifter. I'm gonna go try weightlifting. I'm gonna do put yourself in a place where you actually have to train as hard as you can for X amount of time, and then after you can back off. But I think it's a good way to like motivate yourself. And I think you wanted to ask me about before we wrap up, like how can you motivate yourself to go to the gym, right? So I think for me, I have two things that are very important, especially for new people, because even though we feel like everybody around us work out, the reality is most people don't work out. They work out. Yeah, they work out. Most people don't work out, right? Or at least work out consistently, right? Yeah. So I think the first thing is building a routine. Yeah. So like, for me personally, in an ideal world, going at the same time and following the same process, like 3 to 5 times a week. Yeah. That's like, if you're like, okay, I'm gonna go at 4 p.m. every day. At 4 p.m., you grab your clothes, you put them in your bag, you hop in your car or you hop on the bus, you take the bus there, you walk X amount, you enter the gym, you scan, you go in, you start on this machine. That's like, and you only check off that routine when you do all those steps. So like, that's a way, like psychologically, it's important to, when you're building habits, to have a checklist to make sure, okay, this is the things I need to do to check my habit, especially in the start. Obviously, when you build the habit, then you can play around. Okay, maybe I don't need to go at 4 today. Oh, I didn't bring my gym clothes, it's okay today. Like, so you can, but in the beginning, be strict. Okay, I need this. I need my phone, this clothes, this, my wallet. Okay, I need to hop in my car, drive there, park. Habit completed, check mark. You know what I mean? So once you have that routine done, and like, actually, if you've read, there's this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yeah, that's on my list.
Yeah. So in that book, he talks about like, you don't really even need to like even do the habit, like do the thing itself. You just need to do the routine to the habit. So for some people at the beginning, for the first 1 month, the habit is, regardless of how I feel, no matter what I feel, even if I'm sick, I just drive to the gym, park, habit done. I can go home after that. But as long as you go there, you check that habit, you're done. For some people, you need to walk in there. Walk in there, sit for 5 minutes. Yeah. After 5 minutes, you're done, go home. It's just building that routine. Once that routine is built, at some point, after a month or 2 of doing that, if you don't do that at that time, your body will be itching you. It's just like when you eat, right? If you eat at the same time each day, when you don't eat that time, that one day, hunger will hit you instantly because your body we're habitual beings. And the second thing was having a plan. Yeah. So I think for a lot of people, especially new people, they go into the gym. What do I do? I like that machine. I'll start there. Let me just do that, and then this machine is free. I'll go there. But like, having a plan takes the thinking out. Yeah. So if you have a workout routine that you follow, that's why plans are so important. That's why I think it's important to build programs. And like, eventually, when you get to a certain stage in your fitness like journey, you build your own because you know what works best for you. But in the beginning, maybe ask a friend, maybe research on YouTube if that works for you. Maybe reach out to somebody who you know is professional to build you one, right? And don't overthink investing the time, the money into creating that plan. Once you create that plan, then when you go to the gym, you don't have to think, because a lot of habit formation is friction. What stops you from forming a habit is if I have to do this habit and I have to think and I have to do all these things. But if you take that out of the way, then the habit is quicker to form, right? So those are the two most important things. Everything else is kind of like on the sides, is little additional points. But if you get those two things down, always have those two things regardless of how you feel, what you think, how your day is going, whatever. Like the routine especially, don't your feelings should have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
You should just do it regardless of how you feel, right? And I'd say if you are gonna actually work out, don't spend more than the time you plan to spend. Because like you don't want to like one day be like, oh yeah, I spent extra time that one day, so I don't need to go today. It works out to almost the same. No. The point is to go in every day or as many days as you can, right? So like follow that routine as strictly as possible. So whatever that is for you, but a cheat, this is a third point. A cheat would be to create a habit contract. I'm stealing all these things from Atomic Habits, James Clear book. It's a great book. When you get a chance, read it. Definitely. But create a habit contract in your video. Actually, Kobe says that. Create a habit contract with yourself. But this one you can create a habit contract with somebody. What that means is you give them a good amount of money, or something valuable to you. Yeah. And if you miss one day, you never get that thing back. So you sign. Let's say if I wanted to start working out 7 times a week, you sign, I'll give you $500, right? If I miss one day for the next 21 days, you keep that $500. It's yours now. That will motivate somebody to go to the gym.
Yo, you guys should sign some contracts? I'm down to sign some contracts.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm make some money.
That will motivate someone to go to the gym. Or like, I know there's a guy named Thomas Frank on YouTube. His habit contract was he's a programmer. He made a program that will, if he doesn't wake up at the same time to start his habits, his Twitter automatic message would be sent to his Twitter that will reveal all his photos or something like that. So all his photos on his phone, everyone on Twitter will see them. For some people, that will motivate you because some people be having some interesting things on your phone. Or like if you have you cash out somebody as soon as you miss out X amount of money. So whatever is valuable to you, just put it on the line, and when you miss, then you lose it. You lose. But the point is that will motivate you to not miss and prioritize it. Because for some people, $500 is too small. Some people it's 10 grand. If you're rich like that, hit me up. Like, for people it's 20 grand. Whatever money is I can afford to lose this. That's what you should put on the line. And when you put that on the line, then it's very unlikely that you miss. So that's why. That's a little extra point 2A or tip 2A for how to, what was I saying? How to motivate yourself to go to your gym. I have one last question before we wrap up here. I think we'll wrap up on this. Yeah. What tips would you give your younger self, if you knew what you knew now, in terms of working out?
Okay. Younger tips I'd give to, so this is 17-year-old.
Yeah, when you first started working out, or when you first, when that period when you didn't know what you were doing, but getting new begins, what tips would you have given that guy?
Tip I would say to myself, first starting on the gym, I would say research as much as possible, stay consistent, eat more, eat a lot. If you're, since you were an ectomorph, right, very skinny kid out, eat a lot of food, train. Progressive overload, that's another thing. For those who don't know progressive overload, it's where you have to make the workout harder than last time. You're lifting heavier and, slowly contracting, making sure you feel it. That's key. Like that right there, progressive overload and eating. This one is simple. Progressive overload, eating. If you want to build muscle, progressive overload and eat. assuming you're like an ectomorph, skinny type guy, like I don't know what else to say. Like
That's not perfect. I think we can end it on that. I can't beat that. But let's answer my last question. Barry F. Kill, size, vascularity, and strength.
size,
Before we go.
vascularity, and okay. This is what I'll say. This is what I'll say. I'll marry vascularity. F the size, and I gotta kill the strength. Because right now, in the point of my life I am right now, I'm not that concerned with building strength just yet. I'm still more for the aesthetics, but I do see myself moving slowly towards that building strength. Yeah.
For me, I'd say marry strength,
Okay.
kill size, actually,
Okay.
and F vascularity.
Right.
And when I say F, like you're messing around with vascularity. But the reason why I say marry strength is not just because I like to lift heavy weights, because in my opinion, strength is the biggest driver of health. So if you think about it this way, when old people age, what do they lose? Strength.
Yeah.
So if they never lost strength, they would never really age. So that's how I think about it. So like, if you can stay strong in your bones, in your joints, in your all your entire body, you'll remain functional forever. Like it's because you lose strength and a little bit of mobility. That's a whole different thing. But because you lose strength, in my opinion, that you like lose skill or age. So for me, strength is the biggest factor for health. Anyway, that's my overall. I think this is thank you again for having me on, man. It was very fun talking to you. It was a great podcast. I think we touched on a lot of different topics. I think there'll be a lot of bite sizes we can get out of this.
Yeah, definitely. There's some real good ones for real.
Yeah, so yeah, I think if you listened all the way, I appreciate you. Again, my TikTok is fitness with David, fitness.with.David. So that's my fitness, that's my TikTok, Instagram. And my YouTube is coming out soon, very soon. Before the end of the year, I'll make my first post here. So, but yeah, that's me.
All right. You have a website, right?
I'm working on that too. That will also come next in January.
Right.
Very
Where do
soon.
people, because you sell plans, where can people find those plans?
Hit me up in my DMs.
Yeah.
I got you. Like if you hit me up in my DMs, I have different types of programs.
Yeah.
I'll send you all my stuff.
Yeah.
And I give a lot of stuff for free. So hit me up. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'll answer your question. I'll answer it like this as soon as I see it, regardless of what the question is. Even if it somehow is a product that I have or a service that I give, I'll answer your question for free.
100%, man. Don't lack on, like, all you guys be like, you don't have time, you don't know what to do, going to the gym. We're giving you the key right now. Like, this guy, like, he's got, they're really affordable too. Like, he's told me the plans and stuff.
Yeah.
Hit him up. Don't waste it. If you're trying to be on that fitness grind, trying to get in shape 2023, definitely, hit him up. All that will be linked down below. With that being said, thank you for listening, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace out. Hold on, what?
Stop. There's a pause. Stop button right there. That one, the box.
Oh, snap. It's funny. I'm like, wait, where's... How come I can't find it? Oh, wait, where's... Wait. Yeah, there we go.